Hey everyone, just bringing you a very quick update on daily close. So BTC's sort of been pulling back, sold a big spike up, took out the higher leverage and it started retracing. And I think that's because a couple of the trends shifted to the top side today and it's just gone and smacked into those, which is sending the price down. So that's just a quick overview of what's played out in those few minutes. Um, as for the actual closes themselves, so the Sol BTC strength has closed above some really old levels basically. So it may just come back to this, um, which is still in that sort of 19012 area and then bounce. Else it's got a trend it could bounce off, which could hit, either by going sideways to get to it or a dip to get to it. And it's got some levels sort of down here about 17933, which is now hard close. So like a retest of those would also make sense, but it would have to dive the trend to do that. So that's really, that means it goes back up, regardless. So that's looking really positive. Uh, the we got the close under trends on BTCD and all the safety assets. So that's also positive for the strength of the alts and the risk assets. So that's good. We actually created a hold level on the total. So we've now got a support level which can actually attack the higher trends. So where this was sort of in the middle of nowhere, it's now actually got a bit of structure to try and move up, which is good. And the other view of the total, we closed, sorry, that's a 3-day weekly, but the candle's been pulling back up into that range. We still haven't hit the top hold level yet, so it's probably going to just actually be able to go up, really. We've bounced off the trend. We should head back to that, so it looks like it's going in the way of growth. So the 1-day close on Bitcoin, the trend shifted from down here to over here. We haven't touched that trend yet, so it's sitting at about 112,700, and that's gonna, obviously that'll be a decreasing number with time. And we generated this 1-day hold down here at 111,700. So some really weird structure there too. Like it's almost like it's trying to create some kind of fake bottom to sweep. But uh, this, just how perfectly flat that is just bizarre. Um, so we're probably going to come back to the 11700 level and then maybe have a bounce back to the trend, or it's going to stuff around here for a bit, maybe bounce off the 15-minute backside level here, which is roughly where it is now, and then head up. So that's so we should see at some point a move which is going to be sort of about $1,000 move, just purely based on the daily there. So there's a trade there that you can look into taking. And we opened on trend on the 2 days, so that's not really an up or down thing. We still haven't touched the exterior trend, which is up a bit higher. So, and we still haven't hit the 2-day hold level at 114,210. So if it shoots up to that hold level within this 2-day candle and touches that, that'd be a short because it'd retrace back down below the trend. Or worst case, it would have to try to hold it for a while and then come back to the trend if it closed above, which is kind of like the bullish scenario. So either way, that shows Bitcoin has got a bit of resistance that it's generated. We've snuck back up into the 3-day range, so that's going to give us some support confluent with that that new hold level around the 111 mark. So and that'll probably then send the price back up to the trend, which is about that $1,200 mark. So these are all sort of just like $1,000 sort of moves that are just waiting to happen. That's bearish. So the 4-day has closed under the range trend. It's lost its main trend, so that has now moved to here. Okay, so this is bearish and bullish, I suppose. It's bearish to say that it can now just reject off the back of that trend and travel down. but it's bullish to say that it shifted the support trend to the underside. So now we're starting to see some moves that could be more like $4,000 to $5,000 moves. Just if we come down to that 110, that 108 area, we've now got hold levels, trend support. So there's a bit of stuff that's all down in that same area now, which is good. And we managed to pull back up into the range on the 5-day, so we're coming down to test that again now. That's sort of again not a huge move, but it basically just shows prices kind of stuck between the bottom of a range, which is not technically broken yet, and a range trend from an older range. So that price really needs 5 days to resolve one way or another. Like, it either has to get back up inside there and then it can continue to the upside, or it's going to end up pushing down, opening the next candle and going down, or it's going to travel all the way down to this 108 in the next 5 days, which would be a dive of the range trend. It hits that, we long it, we take it back up to the range trend. So that's set up for some goodness. The 6-day is opened under its trend. Same thing, 108,297. If it goes down to that, then we'll long it back up to trend. I think this is also, has this moved its trend? Where was it? There, and it went to there. Just make sure I've got that one right. There. Okay, it was there. All right, so it hasn't broken that support trend. It's under it, but not broken yet. Okay, we've moved our 8-day trend below. We've got hold levels. We've got a retest. This is more like if the price comes down to 106, but if it does that in the next 8-day candle, then it's a case of just you long it back to trend and you see how it reacts at trend. And if it gets back over the trend and bounces off the top of the trend, you hold the long, you keep holding the long, and you ride it up to 126. So any of these could be actual entries that then have really easy invalidations. And if it was to dive down here, it will come back up here. If it gets back up over this, retests the back of that support trend which shifted today, and then it could travel up to the top side trend or the break level here. But it's sort of setting itself up for like a one last really good swing if it does that dip. Otherwise, you're just going to have to enter in the middle of nowhere, really. Well, you could enter when it hits the trend and then add if it dives the trend. That's another option. If you enter at the trend and then target the break level, that would sort of be about a 110 sort of entry, and then up to that 124. But you might be holding that for quite a bit of time, just given the time frame. Okay, so we've lost the interior trend, we've held the exterior, we're on the inside. So the candle's free to dive. It could come down and test that 106 area, or the back side of this downtrend, which is not broken yet. But you can sort of see how this can actually play out. If it bounces anywhere down here and just gives one accumulation candle, then it's a break of that, and then up it goes. So okay, we're on the wrong side of the 12-day trend. We have a retest level at 108,350 to go to, and we've got the other trend in confluence with that. So if it hits that, bounces, there's a 115 level that would be a target for that. So down to the trend and the backside hold, retest that, bounce up to the hold level at the top here at 115. So okay, we've got another 117,899 hold level. We're on the wrong side of the trend, but nothing's broken. If we actually hit the backside level at 106, then we could target up to that. Or if we hit that trend at 99 or 100, we could target back up to that as well. So it's quite a wide move. And Yeah, got another hold level 119. So this move could pose, depending on which way this one goes, this could actually pose quite a big heavy rejection, because if it was to dive in reverse this interior trend and hit that hold level, which would also be like hitting that downtrend, um, that would reject, and this hold level's already been hit, so it's kind of already used. The rejection would have to be first to the backside level, and then it would, well, I'd probably have to go to trend, which is quite a way away. Or if it was so slow that it ended up with a candle with a big wick, the trend would move again, and then that would create the support. So it's kind of how price can just reverse before it gets to levels. It just, if it takes so long to get to the level, the trend changes. 20-day, we're on the wrong side of the uptrend, so we could retest the backside of that trend. We have hard closed that level at 1074 roughly. We did that the other day, but we haven't retested that yet, so that could be a retest and bounce. I doubt it's going to 84, but that's there. We have a hold level waiting to give us a long at 107700, and we're on that trend, so it's not broken, so that's good. I think it would probably just come down, dip, and then run back up to the backside of the trend. Looking at that, we've got a hard or a level 106 get level again that kind of needs to be retested, and then it could bounce back to those upper trends, 116 or 119. Oh, cool. So the price pulled back up enough before the end of the day that it didn't create a resistance or another resistance hold level here. So we can get rid of that 110 resistance. It's not there anymore. But we are on the wrong side of the 40-day trend. So if we reject off the backside of any of these trends that are here to the upside, sort of starting at about 113 and traveling through to sort of about 118, if we reject off the backside of any of those, the obvious targets for that is 99.9 and 96.42, which would also be like a retest of the backside or a move to the front side. So that's probably one of the biggest plays that could come about. And we closed, we've moved our trend actually on this one. So on the 48-day, the trend has moved. We're on the wrong side of it. Same sort of thing, retest support levels starting at 108,350, and then the next one's down at 95,743. Again, big moves, play out over a long period of time. At the 48-day time frame too, guys, this could be like, bear market stuff. May not even be stuff that we see before we see the next high. And so we've shifted the 60-day trend to the top side. We haven't touched it, and we have levels around 99,410. We are on the wrong side of that trend, even though it doesn't look like it. Price is actually on the wrong side of the trend when you view it from the lower time frame. Yeah, so we might just sneak back up above that, go up, or we could go down to 100, roughly 99.941. That'd be quite scary, I think, for a lot of people. We haven't really had that kind of max pain flush type fear thing that you would typically see in a bull market. Like when is our everyone is crying type dip? And there's a few here that could do it. Like this time frame could do that down to something that's just under 100k, and then power all the way back up to 126. But it's just, yeah, it just hasn't happened yet. So just keep an eye on those levels and those time frames, and if that kind of thing does happen, then you know where to enter, where to size up your positions if you're already stuck in a bad position, and you know where to get out. And under trend on the 80-day, but above the support trend, which is around 109. So we could just bounce that support trend and travel up to be honest, that would almost be some kind of blow off top scenario there. If we bounce off that trend and just power through there, you'd have 80 days of potential price discovery, uh, and then the fact is that it was under the trend when it actually started, so it'll end up coming back. So that could be a blow off top type scenario there. And the really big one, the 120 day, not that we can usually draw too much from this, but it sort of implies it was actually already rejecting off that backside of that up there when we were up around 124 previously. So it's sort of showing a possible return to the 95 area um, to retest support and then have another go. So maybe. So do keep in mind it could go that low as far as where you put your liquidations and that kind of stuff. And also if everyone is like absolute peak fear and the prices around there, just realize that might actually be opportunity time. So that's BTC, quick overview. Sol, nothing moved on the daily trend. We're extended up above a couple of break levels. Didn't really hard close anything notable in there. So you would sort of suggest that this is potentially going to return back to the trend, which is around 207 on that. And we didn't shift anything on the 2-day. So we've got an origin level. We've got a hold level for support sitting there at about 206. So on the 2-day, you could see a shift back to there, and then another long opportunity or a bounce back up above trend. We have up above the 3-day range trend. If we retested that, it would be about 200. And have we hard closed? We haven't really hard closed any new break levels there. But we do have some stuff here at just, plain old 210 now that could act as support. And we have another range trend sitting here at 207 that could act as support. I don't think there's a way to guarantee that this thing's actually going to go down to these lower levels, because if they just keep pushing it up, it's just going to use these higher supports, and they're kind of like 50-50 supports. When you've got a hard closed level, it's hard closed, it's real support. When you've got something not hard closed, well, it can still be support, and that's how it gets hard closed in the future, because it 50 chance it just bounces off that and the next candle becomes the hard close. So okay, so 4-day shifted trend. This is rejected off the trend. This really should be coming back to like 110 or something hard closed, which is all the way down here at 192. It's also the hard close back up inside that older range trend, which all has confluence. So there's a pretty good chance there, as long as they don't just keep on bouncing off these non-closed supports, this one will travel down to the 191, 192 area. And we moved the 5-day trend to the top. We're rejecting off that. We've used the hold level at 201. We've hard closed a 195 range. And we've got a trend sitting at 204. So the support for this rejection is going to be 204, or more likely 195, but the level that is sitting there at 201 probably isn't a good level for that one. Have we moved any trends? That's debatable. Probably not. The 6-day has a range trend at 206. It's now got a hard closed break level at 195. So if it travels back to any of those levels, you could be looking for longs in there, and you'd hold those until you hit the 239 mark. So that's we did shift, or is that just, no, sorry, that's our exterior. So our exterior 8-day trend was always just sitting here. It's hit that, it's rejected. It closed above and created an interior back in, sorry, it created an interior back in January, but it's just closed above that now. So first point of support 212 if it just bounces between those two trends. But more likely, that hold level that's down there at like 191.7, and you got that 204 area sort of showing up again, 204 down to 203. So that's good. What else? Too many tabs open. We've closed up above trends on the higher time frame, but we haven't hard closed anything. 204 would sort of be the first bounce location for that, and then back to the main support trend, which is about 194. Sorry, 196. So there's a lot of confluence. It's sort of like 206, 207, 204, 196, 195, 192 sort of areas should be areas to look at, and then 12-day. We have moved something here. Let's have a look. Oh no, we haven't. We've broken our interior. So we broke our interior trend on the 12-day, but we didn't shift the exterior because exterior is on the line. So this would have a 204 for like a super bullish bounce. It would have a 192 would sort of be a retest of trend that isn't technically broken yet, but 50-50, it could just bounce. Support trend is sitting down in this in like the 170s, and the actual broken trend, which did get hard close today, if retested, is like pretty much that low 170 area. So that's, and we did break, yep, so we did break our 15-day trend. It shifted to the top. We opened on the underside. We've got a hard closed break level at 187, which way too many tabs open. Hard closed break level at 187. We've got a really old break level support at 204, and we've got the other trend, the support trend down there at 170. Yep, so that's we haven't hit the 16-day break level yet, so that could still reject. That's 219.9, and that could send price back to the 194 or the support trend at about 180, 176, or again the 204 level, but it's just kind of in the middle of those two. So yeah, be careful if the price hits 219. That could be a bit of a rejection. Just waiting to happen. And we are still haven't retested that lost trend at about 223. We did break the downtrend, so that's up there. Opened on trend. We didn't hard close any break levels. We do have a 176 hold level and support trend, so that 20-day time frame. So some of these bigger ones do still point to the 170s. We're rejecting off the backside on the 24-day, and we have not shifted the trend up. No break levels to consider. We do have a support trend we could return to, which is currently sitting down at about 190. So that this rejection that you're seeing up here could potentially come back down to here, or even dive down to this one, but that's about that 179 area. So, and you got a 176, still not hard closed range from in there. Yeah, so all the structure's really there to explode to the top side or have a really solid retest and flush. 204 again showing up. 241 as a break level, and massively overextended from its support trend. So this is yeah, this could be very bullish and bounce off 204 and head to 241, or this could just head down, 176 if it retests the backside of the trend that it's tried to push through. I don't think it's going down to 144. But, and what do we got? We got the 40-day, we got 240, 243 targets. Have we broken a downtrend? Just check that out. So 1, 2, yeah, we did. So this is on the top side of trend. It's closed over it, and it's got this lovely little sort of crossover point here where the support trend, the older range from what's that, 193 sort of area, and the backside retest of the trend that it's now on top of, all sort of start to converge in that area. So definitely keep an eye on that. So that's sort of that 195, 196 area. So that would be where all of that stuff crosses over. And if that long holds, then 243 and then 264 would be your first two targets, followed by the topside trend at 306. And okay, so the 48-day trend moved. The hold level for the 48-day trend is 175. It's rejecting off it straight up. That could go to 175. There's you can't sit here and say it won't do it, but just be prepared if it does. It's a really big hold candle, so if it comes out and hits that, then you get a nice big long off that. And 60-day is above trend. It's above the break. This is the first 60-day candle we've ever closed above that break level. So that's insanely bullish. If this thing wants to go into price discovery, it can just do it from that line. And yeah, that's pretty cool. Nothing else has moved. Nothing else is broken. The other levels that it could retrace to would just be retests of the backside of trends. They're sort of 180s. Support trend is sitting down in the sort of 166, 170 area. It's all, I wonder if that does look the same from a lower time frame. Let's just double check that. Daily. Yeah, 177 for backside trend retests, 170 for support trend, and it would be really unlikely if it ever got to that interior again with that stuff above it, so I wouldn't even bother about that. But yeah, so it's a huge entry range for this, because you're sort of talking it could just bounce to price discovery and all-time highs straight off 204, or it could go down and retest these trends. So big entry range on that. And we closed under, what's that one, the 80-day. We closed under the 80-day. That could bounce off 204. It could come back down here to the 160s. Truth is, it could just stop anywhere in between because of one of all the other time frames and then bounce. Because we haven't, like, this is one of those time frames where we've never actually lost the uptrend, and you'd have to have a blue candle, an 80-day blue candle below this uptrend for it really to lose that. So it's still kind of getting pulled in the upwards direction like a magnet to these things. And we've also got like range retests up there, all above that sort of 150. So yeah, it's looking very positive to see 140s, 150s, 160s out of some of these moves. and once again we created another hold level at 189, and we're above the support trend, and we're above the downtrend, and we broke the interior trend. So this thing is anywhere in that sort of area, to be layering into longs. That's awesome. So there's the daily update. Basically, BTC probably still has some downside to it. That means it's going to ultimately allow or pull Sol back anyway, regardless of how bullish Sol looks. But that's healthy because it can therefore perform a retest of some of the levels broken. It's kind of what we're seeing now. Actually, it already looks like the pullback has started. And those levels are levels to long, and you could long BTC from its lower levels, and you've probably still got that one more pump to go, or you long Sol, and I think you'll probably find a bigger percentage return. But you do you, and yeah, we'll catch you again. Cheers, bye.